Everyone, or live stream rather. Okay, so Arian is coming, but not sure where he is. So we're gonna go ahead and get started, and start the conversation. So, married, black, and carnivore, welcome, and thank you for the happy born day message. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, today is my birthday. Oh my gosh, I am 51 years old today, or 51 years young today, and it's really been a great day. So some of you, I don't know if you checked out my Instagram, you can find me on Instagram at Black Carnivore. And I posted a picture of my birthday breakfast, which was scrambled eggs with a bacon and a birthday candle in it. And I made a birthday wish. So that was wonderful, a wonderful start to the day. And I went to visit some friends last night, and we had dinner out, and that was really nice. It was, so I had actually, what did I have? I had jerk chicken wings, and it was sort of like a fusion soul restaurant. So the jerk was not like what I would expect if I were just going to like a Jamaican restaurant. But it was an interesting sauce, and I don't think it had any sugar in it. It didn't taste sweet at all. So it was pretty good. I really enjoyed that. And it wasn't fried in oil, which was really important to me as well. And then I had a burger with bacon. It was, when a burger comes without all the stuff, like it's not always, as good as the burger that you might make at home. So it was okay. It was good. And but that was it. Okay, Huddy, hey, air fryer. Yes, air fryers are always always a good choice. Chase, welcome, happy birthday to me. Yes, thank you. I really appreciate that. I am always trying to, to look good and to look young and refreshed and everything. So thank you. I appreciate that. It's working. Oh my God, Heather G, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. It really means a lot to me. I, really appreciate all of you. I love spending time on these live chats, and I love spending time with all of you. And I appreciate all of your support and all of the wonderful wishes I got today and the wonderful messages and everything. It was really a great day, and I enjoyed myself thoroughly. So, let me know if you can hear me, because it seems like I didn't set my mic up properly. So, oops. Um, but yeah, and so I was in the city, and I enjoyed that, in New York City, and then I drove back from Albany today, so or this afternoon. So that was okay. It was a pretty good day too. Miss Tay, welcome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for the birthday wishes. And yeah, let me get my headphones set up. Now, I don't know what happened to Arian, because he wanted to be on tonight, and I definitely want to chat with him as well. We haven't caught up in a while, and I love catching up with him and with all of you. But definitely jump in the chat and and let me know how. Jump in the chat and let me know how you're doing, or if you have any questions while I figure out this headphone thing, this microphone thing. Heather, I'm glad you can hear me. That is good, but I want to get the headphones going, my AirPods going. So here we go. That should help. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so let me know how you all are doing. How was this week for you on Carnivore? I, Yeah, I'd love to hear how this week went for you folks on Carnivore. I wanted to talk about what I think are the top 5 things you need to get started on Carnivore, and you might be surprised by some of the things on my list. And I'd love to hear from you what you think are, because we've definitely got some. Some veterans here who've been doing this a while. So I want to hear from you as well. What do you think the top things are that you need to have to make carnivore work for you? So I am gonna go. I'm gonna start with my. I don't know. I guess we'll start. We'll go in any order. So one thing, because I've just started thinking about this week, is a good knife. Now I have not had a good knife for most of my carnivore career. I have been gifted really quality knives that I treated terribly and didn't know how to sharpen and deal with, and so destroyed. So I have not had great knives to work with. And then I did buy a sharpener on, just on Amazon, like, a thing that you kind of scrape the knife through. And, it was okay. It made the poor quality IKEA knife I had a little bit sharper and made it a little bit easier to cut through stuff. But finally, I decided I threw out all my knives. When I left New York, I just decided all of my kitchen stuff, I decided not to keep any of it. And so when I came up here to Albany, in my uncle's house, he's bachelor, not really much of a cook, and so there's nothing here. So I've had to actually get most of the things that I need. And so I looked around in the kitchen at what I ended up really having to have in order to do like a basic carnivore, and at a modest price. And it's, really wasn't that much stuff. But the first thing I did get was a knife, a good quality knife. And that has been, I mean, wow, what a difference it makes to have a really good quality knife that is sharp. It's so much easier to cut through, to cut through stuff. And I love to make my chuck chunks, and so it's so much easier to cut through the meat. I mean, it's almost like cutting through butter. It is easy and delightful, and definitely something that it just makes everything so much easier. And I think about like when I like to make my jerky and stuff. You really need to slice the meat very thin so that when you dehydrate it, it makes it, it doesn't have to dehydrate forever, and it makes good jerky. So that is something that I love to do, and it was always difficult with my poor quality knife. So there you go. So on Instagram, many of you asked like where I got it, what it was, how did I do it? And I got it at Target. It's a Farberware. But I found it also on Amazon. So I posted in my stories, I posted a link. So if you want to get it, go to my stories on Instagram, and and download the knife. I mean, it was only like $15, not a big deal. Pretty easy and simple. So I encourage you all to get it. Okay, so Heather says my week went well. Awesome. I'm glad to hear it. Chase says, what about a meat cleaver? So someone did give me a meat cleaver, but I don't know what to do with it. I mean, it's huge, very heavy, but it doesn't seem like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like a precision tool. So maybe I need to look at some like videos about how you use it. I mean, the way it seems like I see people using it, they're chopping through a joint or something. So you're using it like almost like an axe. So I don't know. But if you're trying to dice up chuck roast into, like cubes to make your chuck chunks, I don't know if a cleaver actually gets that job done. Um, Heather said, I didn't expect you to say knives, but it's very important. Yeah, I know it doesn't seem like that's what I would say, but yeah, it is really important, especially, well, given the kind of meat that we're talking about, once you get beyond steak or burgers, like, you actually do, you need to cut stuff. And when I got up here, my uncle's knives were, as sharp as spoons. I mean, like, there was nothing I could do. So, yeah, I had to buy a knife. Okay, Pat Jacobs says I invested in Cutco knives. You can ship them back to be sharpened. Um, yeah, that seems awesome. But that just also seems inconvenient because at the time that I need the knife to be sharp is like when I'm gonna make something, and if I have to ship the knives back, I don't know. And you need to sharpen knives regularly because we use them regularly, right? I don't know. So yeah, there definitely are knives. You can get quality knives that where they will sharpen them and all of that. I just never did it, and that's how I ruined the knife. I mean, my mom bought me, I think it was some kind of Japanese knife. It was like an $80 knife, and it wasn't even one of those big, like, kitchen, all-purpose knives, but it was like a smaller sort of knife. And yeah, and I mean, I don't know, I like destroyed it. It was I did not treat it properly at all. Okay, Mendel says sleep, water, bathroom access in your workday, kitchen shears to open packages with help, a pan you can beat up for mixing eggs and canned fish with a fork, and a pot for tallow. Nice. Okay. I like that list. So, sleep, yes, totally, always important. Water, bathroom access, yes. Kitchen shears are super helpful. I definitely agree with that. And a pan you can beat up for with scrambled eggs and canned fish. Yes, absolutely. Pat Jacobs, oh my God, thank you so much for the super sticker. $50 is amazing. I so appreciate that. Um, Video game controller. Oh, I see. Super effective. Okay. I don't have my laptop up, so I'm not actually looking at some of these messages that are coming through to see the actual icon. But thank you so much, Pat. I really appreciate it. It means really a lot to me, and I can't tell you how much your support means to me. And okay, Mommy Does Keto, welcome. I'm so glad to see you. Thank you. Looking fabulous, and I'm glowing. Awesome. So I also, I shipped my DSLR down south. I wasn't expecting, to be gone as long as I was. So I don't have my proper camera. I don't have my proper lighting. So I have like a little lamp to, shine some light over here. So that's why everything looks a little different, but that's how we roll. We just kind of figure it out along the way. And Zinga Williams says electrolytes formulated for keto. Yep, that's important. Thanks, Mommy Does Keto. Happy birthday to me. And hi, Terry. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes. Mandel says hunting knives, even cheap ones, will sharpen up great for kitchen use. Just wash them. Strong and ergonomic. A millstone, a regular wet rock Arkansas stone, and a strap. So already that sounds like way more complicated and beyond like my regular ability. So I love like the advice, but I definitely am going to need to see a video about how to do that. And yeah, I'm not sure I can do that well. And Zinga, thank you so much for the birthday wishes. Um, so yeah, so a good knife, I definitely recommend that. And yeah, let's go from there. And then next on my list, so this might be controversial, but I am going to say an air fryer. That is my absolute preferred favorite way to cook generally on a day-to-day basis. So different people have different opinions. Like whenever I post about doing my chuck chunks in the air fryer, so many people, talk about how they like it best, like, in the Instant Pot or baked in the oven or, the various ways they like to cook it. But I don't know. I really like the way air fryers cook. I like the texture it gives food. I like how quick it is. I don't know. Everything about it I like. So you tell me, like, if you have a different way of cooking that you really prefer. But hands down, air fryer, that's it for me. So this week, I was like, well, my uncle's got a stove, like, I can just cook on the stovetop. I don't need to get an air fryer or something like that. And then, after like a week, I was like, oh my God, what am I thinking? I'm going to get an air fryer. And, I just got the same one I had been using, and the price has now come down. So it wasn't that expensive. And I mean, it's an investment, but it wasn't that bad. And I have been using it ever since. So, yes, perfect. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. I'm sorry I even waited. I should have done it before. Um, so you tell me, like, which is your, kitchen, your favorite kitchen accessory, or, item that you use to cook with. The Instant Pot, I also left that and decided to get rid of it, but um, I thought about whether I was going to get that again, and then, I was kind of like, I don't know. I hardly ever use it, and yeah. So I may not actually get another Instant Pot, but it was good. It was good while I had it. It was a good experience. But it might be over for me. It might. Okay, so let's see. Terry says my favorite is my gas grill. Every day, less cleanup. Oh my gosh, I'm so jealous. But yeah, absolutely. So if I had the room, I would definitely be getting a grill. So when I do get down to North Carolina, that's something that I do want to have, and I will definitely be grilling a lot. And I love that idea that you can put something on the grill and you never have to clean up. I mean, I assume, right? You just keep grilling on that same grill and it just, I don't know, builds up food. I don't know. I don't know how that works. But I love the idea of not having to cook. Not having to clean up anything. And yeah, that sounds good to me. Mr. Wogglesworth says air fryers are great for apartment dwellers. Totally. For any dwellers, right? I don't know. So Mommy Does Keto says air fryer and a pot. So a pot for the stovetop, is that what you like to do with it? Let me know. Uh, Douglas, thank you so much for the super chat. Really means a lot to me. And this is, you guys are the ones who are keeping this going, and I want to keep doing more. I actually have an interview that I really want to get published with someone very interesting. So I'm trying to finish editing that, and hopefully, I might publish it before Tuesday because I have waited too long, and I definitely want to put out another interview. Okay, so Terry says also my wok is great, especially for bacon and eggs. Interesting. How, why? Is that because it is so non-stick, or everything sort of falls down in the center, or what? Like, I guess I would have assumed that shape would be odd for cooking bacon, but maybe not. Okay, Pat says I purchased the Instant Pot 9-in-1 and it has an air fryer feature. Ooh, tell me how that works out. I read a lot of those reviews because I was looking at one of these things like, yeah, sure, why not get everything all in one device? And it seemed sort of mixed where some people are like, it doesn't do any of the things well, or, I only ever use it for one thing. I don't know. So I'd love to hear about that. And Felicia says we grill in North Carolina majority of the year. Love grilling. Oh, awesome, awesome. Well, maybe we can have a meetup, and I would love to try out your grilling and what you make. Mommy Does Keto says you let the grill burn up stuck on food when you're done cooking. Perfect, perfect. Love it. And stovetop pot, you can make eggs, braise tough meat, boil eggs, fry bacon, etc. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. And Virgo lady, happy birthday to me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Uh, Excellent. Okay, Terry says the shape. So with the wok, you can keep things moving, and I cut my bacon strips into 4 sections. Okay, so it's like little pieces and they kind of all scramble up and fry up together. I like it. I like that a lot. That sounds actually really delicious. I will definitely have to keep that in mind for the future. And do you, I wonder, Terry, do you have a preferred nonstick way of cooking? I have used, I think I've preferred, what do you call it? The ceramic nonstick coating. That's the only one I've found to be like, consistently, uh, able to not get scratched and consistently stay nonstick. So, yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. All right, Douglas says, I smoke food all year. The smoker always makes temp. Okay, nice. I love that. And when I get a smoker, I definitely am going to be coming to you, Douglas, asking for advice and suggestions about how to do it. But I think that's awesome. I love outdoor cooking. I love, campfires. I love outdoor stuff. So I'm really looking forward to having an opportunity to do that. It would be awesome if I ate every meal outside. Have no problem with that. Cooked every meal outside. That would be perfect. Hey, country girl, welcome. Glad you are here. And Terry, so it is. Okay, so Terry is saying ceramic nonstick coating. Is that what you're using? Uh, and your okay, so your nonstick is a cast iron that's been seasoned well. So that's fantastic. I love that. I have never been able to season my cast iron in such a way that I've gotten to a nonstick space. So it's like I might, if I season it, the first cook afterwards, it's like, oh wow, look at this nonstick, and then thereafter, it's already like starting to flake off or come apart or whatever. So clearly, I need some help. I'm not doing it right. And I guess I would add, that might be something to add to, your essentials list. I think the essentials list is a little bit different for every person. So, for some people, it might be that, cast iron, cast iron pan with like a perfect, nonstick coating. So I've given up on my ability to do it. So yeah, it just hasn't worked. Heather says a crock pot is good for cooking oxtails. I buy liners so I don't have to deal with cleanup. Um, yeah, a crock pot is great for those long and slow cuts that you can cook. I don't know why. Like I haven't made oxtails in a long time. So that must be why I haven't pulled out my instant pot because oxtails are so crazy expensive. So yeah, that's what's going on for me. Um, and what are these liners that I've heard people talk about liners for to deal with cleanup? So hmm, so I remember I used to get like those plastic bags that you can actually cook in, and I'd put like, a turkey in it with, some vegetables and stuff, and then you tie up the bag, and then everything is happening inside the bag in the oven. And when you're done cooking, you can take the whole bag out, the food goes into a bowl and you throw the bag out, and the pan is still clean. So is that what you're talking about, Heather? Because I've heard people talking about a liner for the crock pot, and then I just like had no idea what people were talking about. Okay, Terry says my wok is season 2, no need to wash, just wipe out. Wait, is your wok cast iron, Terry? That seems so heavy. Wow. I guess I'm imagining like a huge wok that, I see when I'm in the Chinese restaurant, but let me know. Okay. All right. So that is my number 2, air fryer. And so number 3, I'm gonna say it's a cross between chuck roast and ground beef. So Actually, usually when I'm buying ground beef, it's usually ground chuck. So it's the same cut, just, uh, processed differently. But I think if you are, a minimalist, if you are trying to keep costs down, or, you just don't want to make a lot of elaborate meals, the chuck roast, or the chuck is a cut that is, flavorful, it's delicious, it is, fatty, it can be, both cooked long and slow, or short and easy. There's a lot of ways to go about doing it. So I definitely recommend that get comfortable with your chuck roast, like dive in with it. So I like it both just the whole meat, and and I make my chuck chunks with it, and then I like it ground beef, where I make meatballs or ground beef crumbles, or whatever. But if you have that, you can start, that's a solid start. You don't have to have a whole bunch of bacon, or eggs, or other things. Like, those things are wonderful, but you don't have to have them. Okay, it looks like Arian might be joining us. Hold on. Let's see. Uh, so, um, all right, so he's gonna join us. So as far as the chuck roast, so my favorite way of cooking it, I just published another video about it or it's just another video about it on Instagram, showing you like how I cut it up and how I do it. I always forget to say something in the video, so that one I forgot to say. You want to you want to cook it for 6 to 8 minutes at 400 degrees. And I do 400 degrees. Well, I say 6 to 8 minutes because it depends on how small you cut the cubes, and it also depends on how brown you want it, and all of that kind of stuff. So you got to experiment with your device. And yeah. So let's see. Uh, Okay, Pat Jacob says, I only use four of the features on the 9-in-1 pressure air fryer roast bake. I love it for chuck chunks. I also purchased the air fryer liners that helps with cleanup. Okay, I am totally unaware of these air fryer liners. So Terry says, learning to season is a southern thing. Just wait till you move. Someone will help you. I don't know. I tell you, the older people in my family just gave up cooking. There was a time when, I guess they would make these big, elaborate, huge holiday meals. But then, the older people said, I'm coming out of the kitchen. We're going to order something, and that's it. So I don't know. I don't know. I'll see. Okay, Mommy Does Keto says they're plastic like a big shower cap. I need to see what these things are about. Okay, Chase says I messed up cooking my first home boneless ribeye by leaving it in the skillet too long, and I used duck fat. What should I do instead? Um, yeah, so the way I like to cook ribeye, like I tell you guys, I want to hold on. Um, so the way I like to do it is, I really love the way air fryers cook meat when they're in that chunk form. So if I'm not showing a picture to anybody and I'm not trying to do anything for the gram, I'm going to chop up my ribeye into those chunks, and it is going to be amazing because that way all the fat gets all crispy. Every bite is full of that crispy browned part of the meat that is the best part, and that's the way I like it. So if you're not going to do that, if you want the good looking thing, what I say is, you in your frying pan on the skillet, you want to put a lot of fat in there. So, it's like almost like deep frying your steak in the fat. So you want there to be enough liquid fat in there so that the steak is, partially submerged in it. So it's not, we're not talking about a small amount. And then you can put it in there. You want to pat it as dry as possible so it doesn't steam in the pan. And then, you put it in and you let it brown on one side, turn it over and let it brown on the other. But, of course, well, I don't put the heat all the way up. I put it like a halfway up. So, you're going to have to experiment with your stove to see what is the right temperature. But you don't want it so high that you're burning the fat. You want it to be hot, but not that hot. So I hope that helps you, Chase. But it's definitely something you got to experiment with. And Heather says, okay, they're similar to those liners, but made for crock pots. I'm going to look for these liners. As soon as we are done with the live stream today, I am definitely going to search for this. Okay. Douglas says the key to cooking with cast iron is to clean while hot and use very little to no soap. Yep, that is absolutely true. Um, and I don't know. I just do not seem to get it right. Not at all. Not at all. Okay, let's see. Mommy Desquito says I made chuck roast tonight for dinner. Got it on sale for $2.99 a pound. Okay. Oh my God, that is amazing. Where did you find that? That's amazing price. I never see it that low. That low. So, all right. Mandel says instructional videos are kind of important. My sister cooked this ribeye on a George Foreman. Oh. Oh, yes. That's the absolute worst way to cook a steak. Does a George Foreman grill do anything well? Um, Maybe heats up a sandwich. Yeah. No, no, no. Oh, I'm so sorry that happened to a ribeye. Oh, that's terrible. Okay. Oh man, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, there's got to be a better way to do, to cook to try to grill a steak. But I think that that is what people do who are not used to, they're not used to eating meat, and so they're just like, oh, yeah, this is exactly how you cook it. No, 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 not at all. Yeah, Damon Barker says George Foreman is good for cooking in a hotel room, not much else. Absolutely, 100% agree. I mean, I made a lot of burgers on my George Foreman grill. I liked them back in the day. It was convenient. It was quick, yeah, that was before air fryer, so it was quick, but yeah, no, don't do it that way. Glenda, thank you so much for the birthday wishes. I really appreciate it. Douglas says, I try not to eat food coming out of hot plastic. I rather clean the ceramic pan. That is a fair point, Douglas. A fair point. I don't know. I look back on all the, turkey breasts that I cooked in those bags. I don't know. Maybe bad, probably bad. I don't know. So all we can do is try to do better going forward. Yeah. Okay, Mandel says I pan fried a chuck roast in about 1 inch of fat in a cast iron pan. That worked great, and I even messed up. Okay, awesome. So some people ask about getting a chuck steak. I've seen chuck steaks. I find a chuck is too tough to enjoy if I am if I don't cut it into small pieces. So I've definitely seen people try to make chuck chunks that are too big. So, like, literally, the pieces have to be bite-sized pieces, and otherwise, it's not going to work. Ooh, okay. I think Arian is here. Yes, there he is. Hold
There
on.
we
Okay. Um, okay. Uh-oh. Here we are. Ah,
go.
look at that. Okay. So everybody, can you still hear us? And give us a thumbs up if you can still hear us. So Uh-oh, I've lost hearing you. Can you hear me, Arian? I can't hear you, Arian. So, yeah, your sound is not connected. Okay, so let's see. Let's go back to okay. So Mandel was saying he pan fry the chuck roast. So I do see people getting chuck roast steaks and eating them. Sometimes they complain of it being too tough. Sometimes it's not too tough. I don't know. I think that you know you can definitely eat tough cuts of meat, but you need to slice them very small. And so, you're not trying to eat a big wad of it. And that's really going to be the difference there. But chuck is great. And you can definitely get chuck steaks. Those are usually pretty cheap at the store, and you can give that a try. Terry agrees with Douglas on both points. Yeah. So, plastic, it's definitely a thing. Definitely a thing. Um, uh, let's see. Oh, all right. Now we've got multiple people in here. Let me see. Let me try this again. Here
We
we
got a
go. Here
phantom
we go.
person.
Yeah. Mandel says reason to save the tallow from burger patties. Yes, always save your fat. Always save your fat. That is, yeah, you should definitely do that. Um, okay, Mommy Does Keto says she got her cheap chuck roast at the local Stop and Shop, and you just got to watch out for those sales. So, yes, definitely. And Mr. Bogglesworth, you're right, absolutely right. If you want a lukewarm gray steak, a George Foreman is the perfect way to achieve that goal. Hmm. So, just a recap for you, Arian, and for everyone watching. So, we're talking about top 5 things that you need to get started with carnivore, and my first three are good knife, two an air fryer, and three
Yes.
chuck roast slash ground beef. They're mostly when I buy hamburger, it's ground chuck, not sirloin or other stuff, although you can make hamburger out of other things. And those two ways of getting meat are cheap, easy, and always delightful, and a nice level of fattiness.
Right. Um, yeah, those sound good. Except for me, if I'm gonna do, because I haven't tried the chuck chunks. I'm still scared to do them. Like I'm scared that the meat's gonna be
What?
tough. Like, so somebody was in the group. Um, was it earlier this week? They had posted somebody's recipe about doing chuck rolls, and I think they cooked it to like 115, and it took like I don't know a half hour or an hour or something, and it like that doesn't seem like enough time for chuck rolls.
Wait a minute. They cooked a chuck roast in the oven for how much? For how long?
To 115, 115 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, I
So
guess they
so it
like
might have been a
it
sous vide thing,
raw.
right? And
Well,
that, but like
115 degrees is not even, that's not even rare. That's like raw.
right. So
Yeah.
like they were talking about it being okay, Douglas, noticing the Morgan shirt, but yeah, they were talking about it being so tender, and I'm like, yeah, I guess it could be, but like I've had chuck stick and I barely cooked it in order to try to keep it tender, and it was tenderer, but it still
I don't
wasn't
know.
even raw. It's still not easy to eat.
Hmm. Well, I used chuck when I made steak tartare, and I think the key with the tough cuts is that you have to chop them into really small pieces so that you're not like, you're only chewing like that one mouthful. You're not trying to, use your teeth to cut and divide and, chew and get through, any kind of tendon or anything like that. You're just taking one single bite and letting the knife do all the work. So when I did
Okay.
make the steak tartare, I'm chopping up or dicing up the chuck into, tiny little pieces. So it's not, you're not, so it is, in that sense, it's tender. And uncooked meat, of course, is more tender than cooked. But yeah. So let's see. Mr. Bogglesworth said if eating chuck steak sous vide is first to reduce toughness. Yeah, maybe. That's another thing. When I was cleaning out my kitchen and moving, I threw out my sous vide because I have not opened it in like 2.5 years. Yeah, I just decided, I don't know. I'm not doing anything with it. So I let it go.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had the desire really to buy a sous vide. If like someone else had one and I could just use it once or
hmm
twice, I would, but that would be
hmm
about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Hey, Leslie, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Awesome. Thanks for the birthday wishes. And let's
So
see. Huh?
this is your birthday?
Yes.
Happy birthday!
I thought that's why you wanted to come on tonight.
This is my regular night.
Okay. Okay. It is also my birthday. I am
Happy
51
birthday!
today. Thank you. Thank
Wow,
you. Yeah. I just got back from New York City. I went to dinner last night with some friends, and then I had a birthday breakfast of scrambled eggs and bacon with a birthday candle, and I was able to blow it out and, have a wonderful wish.
nice.
Mhm. Yeah. So let's see. Raw asks for someone with tooth problems that loves steak. Is there a way to cook it or something else I can eat that won't leave me in pain besides ground beef, obviously? So my experience with tough cuts of meat, like London broil, can be very tough because it's very lean. But I like the flavor of it. I like the taste of it, so it is worth eating. But this is where you really need a good knife. But you can slice the meat really thin. That is going to be the easiest path to tender meat. What do you
Yeah.
think about that, Arian?
Cutting it thin, not cooking it so much. So hopefully you're not a well done type of person. If you are, then I think you're gonna have to slow roast or pressure cook just about everything. If you can take more rare meat, then that's going to be helpful. Even still, though, you're going to have to go for like the most tender cuts, which are always the most expensive. So then, yeah, I think the actual cheap option is slow roast everything, slow roast the hell out of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
besides ground beef, which you already said.
Yeah. Get a good knife and do low and slow cooking, either in a crock pot or whatever, or in the oven. I like, the way I make the brisket in the oven, and I seal it inside, whatever I'm cooking it in, and put it in the oven for a long time. That really does the trick. So. As seen in the D, thank you for the birthday wishes. And Chris wishes me happy birthday. Thank you so much. Yes. And Mr. Bogglesworth says if you have tooth problems, stick the steak in a blender and puree it into a paste. Yep, that's
Uh,
one way. That is
I
definitely one
mean,
way.
that's a thing you could do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to say I recommend it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
uh,
so the other thing that's happened, which I did not mention before, is I came up here to Albany to help my uncle who had a stroke, and he's been very sick, and he actually passed on Monday morning. So
sorry to hear
yeah,
that.
Thank you. Thank you. So it's been, kind of a bittersweet time, and I'm, glad that I got to come up here and actually spend the last 2 weeks really trying to advocate for him and give him the support. And, basically I just wanted to try to keep him as comfortable as possible, and and just kind of give him the best, I don't know, the best possibility to either recover or, pass with ease and grace. So, he wasn't really eating, and he was on pureed food, and the pureed food was terrible. And so I kind of was like, they were discouraging me from like bringing in food that I pureed, just in case like it wasn't pureed enough, whatever. But I'm like, man, like, can I make him some salmon? Or, maybe I could get
Yeah,
pate, like, that would be, that might be blended enough. But I was like, I kinda gotta come up with something. So I was thinking about that. So honestly, Mr. Bogglesworth, when you said that, to stick the steak in the blender, I was thinking, I wasn't far off from that. I wasn't. And I was thinking liver might be the thing. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, if you're hungry enough, I bet you like I would eat a blended up steak.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
and it's still gonna basically taste like steak. It's just not gonna have the texture at all.
Mhm. Yeah.
It might be a move.
Yeah. So, well, you heard it here. So if I'm ever in this situation, and any of you have access to my loved ones, call them and tell them, here's how you should puree it. Here's, here are the various things that you can make that she should be given the option of eating instead of that horrible, institutional food, which, was terrible. It was terrible. And,
Yeah.
he has diabetes. And so I would be like, well, can we not give him sugar? Like, shouldn't we not give him sugar? And they are like, oh, well, there's a standing order for insulin. So if he needs it, we can give that to him. And, his numbers haven't gone above 200. So it's fine. And I was just like, oh, you know. And part of me is like, I want to give him his best chance. And, so wouldn't it be great to get him, keto, or at least, add some like coconut oil? But like, those sort of metabolic changes are, have global impact. And so all these other things would end up changing. And of course, the nursing home, the doctors are not prepared to deal with those, with a person who has those other changes happening. Like they have their set way of dealing with stuff. So, it was just like, I don't know, I'm not sure that it makes sense to even try to do that at this point. So
Mm,
I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like at that point, I might be worried that like I don't know everything that I might need to know in case there's some side effect that doesn't make sense to me, doesn't feel like it should happen, but it just
Hmm.
pops out of nowhere. And now I'm
Hmm.
like, oh, well, I changed your diet, and oh crap, I didn't think about oxalates or something. Like
Hmm. Yeah.
I'd be
Well,
scared for something like that with a person who like may have a hard time advocating for themselves to tell you early on that there's a issue.
yeah, definitely.
Um, Related note, I thought of another thing for the tooth problems. Just don't chew the food. You can cook yourself a steak, cut it into small pieces, and like kind of just like press on it with your teeth, but not actually chew it for real, and then just swallow it. If it's small enough pieces, you can do that. You still get the taste. You're eating the steak, and I promise you, your body will work it out. Your stomach acid is gonna between the stomach acid and the small intestine. You're not gonna have steak coming out of you. It will be absorbed.
I guess that explains my dog, because I don't think she chews. She just kind of swallows whole.
Yeah,
There's no savoring
yeah,
with her. Okay.
yeah. I think the only time I've seen a dog chew has been when they've had that
Peanut butter or something.
the Yeah, or like the really hard food, you can hear them crunching on it, but like it's not like they take a bite and you see them chewing like the 30 or 60 whatever times that we're recommended to chew.
Yeah, yeah,
We don't need that. Not when we're eating meat at least. Maybe the plants have to be chewed that much.
yeah. All right, Mr. Bogglesworth, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate the birthday wishes. That really means a lot to me. So thank you. Uh, and let's see. Douglas says buy a slicer for a thinner slice of meat. That's a thought.
Hmm.
Yeah. Thank you, Terry, for the condolences. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Virgo lady. Thank you, Douglas. Yes. Thank you, Chris. Yeah. It's, definitely disappointing. And, well, yeah. All it does is help renew my resolve to try to be as healthy as I possibly can and to, try to avoid stroke. And, I don't know what else we can do. But I do know
Yeah,
end of life really sucks. So the longer we can stay healthy and stay out of the hospital, the better.
right.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I really want the end of life where I'm just relaxed and then I know it's my time's coming. Let's call everybody and I can just go to sleep one day. And that's it.
Yeah. That's the dream. That's the way you want it to go. So, um, okay. Terry Carver says, I'm going to try blended ground beef when I have my oral surgery. I'm hoping it'll work. I think it'll work. Yeah. I totally think that'll work.
Yeah.
Um, and then Zinga says there are chafy recipes made from pureed meats. Do you mean Dr. Anthony Chafee?
No, Chaffle.
Oh, okay. I need my glasses, clearly. I can't read.
No,
Uh,
no, you read it right. She corrected it two
oh,
messages
okay.
down.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry. Um, let's see. Leslie says I freak out when my glucose numbers reach 120. They are only concerned with when the numbers reach 200, and that scares me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
I guess that means that they're looking for a diabetic crisis, and if he's not in
Mm-hmm.
crisis, then he's fine.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Not how that should work.
Yeah. Um. So thank you. I haven't told anybody. I didn't post it anywhere. So I'm telling you all now for the first time that that he passed. So it was. I mean, I wasn't expecting it. I left on Sunday, and he was stable, although he hadn't eaten in 2 days. So I guess that itself should have, I mean, that itself was a sign. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, I was expecting to come back with some. I was thinking about like maybe mashing up egg yolk with butter and giving him that to eat. He said he would eat it. So I was going to do that. And then I get a call first thing in the morning, 6 a.m. So, yeah, yeah. So anyway, um, now to move on, we have listed three things that you really got to have, and so I have two more. So one, I'm gonna say salt. So that
Yes.
is a must-have. Even if you don't do electrolytes and do all of that stuff, you really got to have salt. And I tried a different kind. They didn't have Redmond's at the local grocery store, and I just picked up some gray Celtic sea salt, and it's delicious. Oh my gosh, it's more
Mm.
salty than regular other salts that I've had, so I've definitely had to like pare back how much I'm using, but I really like it. So I recommend it. It's another must buy.
Okay.
Mhm.
Gray Celtic salt.
Mhm. Celtic sea salt. Let's see. Mandel says good food is medicine. Bad food needs medicine. I love that. Yes. Good food is medicine, bad food needs medicine. Most people on medication are compensating for the diet. Whenever there's medicine, it's matching the diet. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vitality 2005 or Violety. And Mandel says I add melted butter to ground beef that got the right to get the right puree consistency. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. Uh,
Makes
so
sense.
pureed ground beef. And
Ground beef pate.
partay with the pate. Um,
Right.
okay. Via Violety. I don't know why I can't say that. I'm sorry. Says I'm not a salt person, but I use spices. Okay, awesome. So, and I think that's important to note. Not everybody needs to use salt. Some people prefer to use less salt or no salt. So it is possible to do it that way. And if you feel more comfortable that way, go ahead and do it that way. But it can be really important. So if you find that you're not feeling well, you're feeling fatigued, you're feeling brain fog, you might need the salt. You might need to up the salt. So that's why for me, it's it's definitely something you need to have in your closet, in your cupboard. And then you kind of, in the beginning, you probably need it. Later on, you can probably do without. You can try without, but in the beginning, you might need it. And actually, we have a lot of folks here, so please hit that like button and click subscribe so you can get notification every time I post a video because you gotta let YouTube know that you want to see more content like this. So hit that like button, please. Mandel says you're an exemplary
44 people,
niece.
right?
Yeah, I know, right? Mandel says you're an exemplary niece. It's great that you were there. Yeah, it was really great. So I really appreciate that that opportunity. Okay, and so drum roll, please. I think that I may have sound effects for drum roll. Yeah. So the fifth item that I think is essential to have in the beginning, and that's part of your carnivore starter kit. This is what you want to have to get started, is butter. So it is a delicious, tasty, and thing to have. It makes every meal taste a little better. If you need more fat, you can supplement that. Yeah, exactly. So if you need more fat, you can supplement that way. It makes it a lot easier to get that, get the fat profile that you're looking for, and and it just tastes great. So I definitely recommend it.
I'd agree with that.
hmm
I haven't cooked in butter in a while. I should do it again. I've been cooking in bacon grease like exclusively for the past few months.
hmm I've been browning my butter lately, and browned butter is amazing, amazing. So, um, I don't know. I really like that. But I do find that the more butter I use, the more I overeat it and regular food. So, so I do better when I'm cooking in tallow because you just use the amount that you need and no more. But with butter,
Hmm.
like the sky's the limit. So I that's definitely something I've noticed for myself. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that, but yeah, you can definitely overdo it on carnivore, and butter leads the way.
I definitely feel like butter. I would eat more if I had the same meal cooked in butter versus cooked in anything else.
Mm,
The butter one I'm going to eat more of.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe that's just like the moorishness of dairy. Like, I feel like all dairy makes you eat more of whatever it is,
Yeah,
and
like
butter fits into that category.
yep. Because if you gave me hamburgers or if you gave me cheeseburgers, I'm gonna eat a different amount.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep. So mommy does keto says I eat butter like cheese. Dangerous. 100%
Yep.
agree, 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 and agree. So yes. Um, okay, so Chris said that I tried browning butter, but I don't think I browned it enough because I'm pretty sure I made ghee. Um, I'm not sure I understand what you mean. So when I brown butter, I just, you know, take whatever butter and I put it in the pan and, just let it heat up until it turns brown. You got to stay close because it goes from brown to burnt very quickly. Um, so if you are skimming off like the milk proteins and the white stuff that sort of appears when butter starts to melt, like that's the stuff that's browning and getting toasted. So if you don't have that, you can't make brown butter. So like you like couldn't take ghee and then try to make brown butter because the stuff that is going to toast is gone.
I think he's saying he does. I don't think I browned it enough because I'm pretty sure I made ghee. So at that point, you are beyond browned butter. Like it's ghee when it's that smooth consistency, and yeah, you skim the solids off. At that point, you can't brown it. But I think he's saying that he was trying to make brown butter out of regular butter and then make ghee. So
So did you melt it and then skim the other stuff off? Just cook it longer. Just, until it turns
yeah,
brown. Yeah.
that's what I think. Yeah, so you can't make ghee before you make brown butter. It starts as brown butter, and then you skim the stuff, and what you have left is ghee.
Hmm. Yeah. So let's see. Damon Baker asks a great question. Would my five things change if carnivore is used as an elimination diet or for health or used as a diet for weight loss? I think if I were doing it for elimination, I would take out the butter and I would replace my five with something else. But otherwise, I think it's great for health. Um, let's see, what might I do for um,
If
if
it's
I
just
were?
elimination, so focusing
Hmm.
on health.
Hmm.
Would you just switch the butter for a different fat, one that doesn't lead so much to overeating?
Yeah, I think tallow. Um, yeah, maybe I would say, if you're very ill, really focusing on grass-fed beef fat, if you can find it, would be good. I think it's really helpful to eat actual fat. As little processing as possible is best. And so if you can get actual chunks of fat and cook that and eat it, that's better than getting tallow and eating that.
Mm,
So that's what I would think. So I guess I would replace butter with beef fat. Grass fed if you can get
yeah,
it. If not, it's still okay.
yeah, I think that's a good idea. Um, and I totally agree with getting the hard chunks of fat so that you can eat that if you need to,
Mhm.
and then also you can render it down if you need to for cooking. Like you can
Mhm.
use it both ways, and I very much agree with 8A. It has been my belief that the closer your food is to um, natural, less processed, closer to the actual animal, the better it is.
Mhm.
The better it is for you.
Yeah. Okay, Terry Carver says brown butter and then refrigerate it and cut it into little pieces. Almost tastes like candy, and it's only brown butter. A good start to fix those cravings if you first start carnivore. Um,
Hmm.
yes, I. I think so. Now, first of all, people have been talking to me about that recipe in particular. I finally found some videos. I watched how to do it. Yeah, so that seems to be super popular. I can tell you right now that I'm never going to make that. It is so clearly going to be a problem for me. I don't even need to. I clearly don't need to even try that. Um, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what? I wonder if you what would happen if you went the exact opposite direction.
What do you mean?
Like, how much weight would you gain if you just overate all the fat?
Oh, tons,
What,
without
what would happen
question.
to your health? If I
I
could clone
mean,
you and experiment on that clone, I would do it.
I mean, I think, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. But if you are, but I will say, if you're looking to lose weight, there's a limit to how good you want your food to taste. Like, because that's going to drive you to eat more. And if you're eating something, especially something so nutrient dense, to deal with a craving, like, you just kind of, I guess, have to be careful at a certain point about whether you continue to feed cravings. Like, you get a craving, and so you find an alternative food to have, but at a certain point, maybe, um, you deal with the emotion and not the craving that's like driving you to eat.
Yeah.
Um, so So in the beginning, I think it can be helpful if you're like just getting into ketosis, just trying to get used to carnivore. But I can see for me, like that's just not going to work. So I'm not going to make it. It's bad enough that I've been browning butter. Like that has to stop as well. Like because I've been going to town, going crazy with it.
Jeez.
Um, okay, so Chris says,
Gotta try
yeah.
this.
So I still have the browned butter, and it's settled at the bottom, but the top is still yellow. Uh, well, so when I make brown butter, I'm just doing it in the skillet, and it's turning brown, and then I'm putting food in with it and cooking it that way. So I'm not like making browned butter for future use. I'm just making it for the current dish that I'm making. So that may be why I have different results. I'm not, um,
Well, he's saying it's settled at the top, but it's settled at the bottom, but the top is still yellow. Maybe you just need to mix it up because if you have brown on the bottom, then it's happening.
well, I think I'm guessing what he's doing is making a lot of browned butter in a like a saucepan or something, like that's a deeper pan. So if you're trying to
Mm.
do that with a bunch of butter, yes, you're on the path to making ghee. I don't think you can make browned butter like that. I think it has to be in a skillet, like, so that more of the milk solids can be in contact with the pan and get brown.
Oh, okay. So that can happen in a saucepan, but it does take, especially if you're going for brown butter, I think you'll need to mix it up a lot more. Because yeah, you want that contact, and you want the stuff that like the your milk solids are gonna settle to the bottom, and they're gonna toast, and you're happy about that. But then they're gonna burn after, so you gotta keep probably scraping those to make sure that they don't cook too much, while the rest of them
Hmm.
do toast and get brown because that's where your flavor is coming from. And you want everything to brown as opposed to when you're making ghee, where as soon as that white stuff separates, you're trying to get it out of there.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I think it sounds like it's going to be easier in a pan, much easier in a pan.
Yeah, yeah. Um, okay, Mantel says many a badly cooked piece of meat was cut into small pieces and eaten in a bowl of melted butter. Works for poultry and canned fish too. Well, for
Yeah.
sure, butter can save a lot of meals that went wrong or went astray. So yes. Douglas says beef, salt water, ultimate healing. Weight loss will come with healing. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, butter is not part of my weight loss plan. You know, for me personally, other people
Fair.
seem to control themselves, but not I.
Yeah.
Uh,
And it could just be that, like you said, it well, kind of like you said, it might just be that it's dairy. Period.
yeah, I don't know. It could be. Hmm. Um, okay. So, do you have any things that you would list, Arian?
Um. Well, we're talking top five. So you've got beef. You named two cuts. You've got the salt. You've got fat. Um, the air fryer is your cooking thing. And then what was the first or second thing you named?
Good knife.
Yes, good knife. I think those are up there. Um,
Hmm.
all those do the job. And if you have those five, you're set. Now,
Hmm.
I would add to those, but I don't know that I could take one of those out and say, like, well, no, you need to do this instead. Because, like, when
Hmm.
you said air fryer, my first thought is, okay, well, what about the roast? I would want to do a roast in an Instapot, but now that's adding to the list. So, yeah, Instapot would be like, that's my honorable mention um,
Well, your
for
top five
best.
could be different because I think, different people like different things. So your top five could be the Instant Pot and it might not be the air fryer.
But that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Your five is already like so solid. I don't want to take anything out of
Oh,
that.
I
I would
see.
have
Okay.
to add on top of it. Like that five, yes, you have to have a knife. You have to have meat. You have to have salt. You have to have something to cook. And of the things to cook with, the air fryer is the most versatile. Like I would want to add a
Hmm.
cast iron skillet to that, but that's extra. I could do
Hmm.
half or three quarters of the things that I would do in the pan, I could do in an air fryer.
Hmm.
Um, and then there's things an air fryer can do that the pan can't do.
Hmm.
Same with the Instapot.
The only
But
other
yeah,
thing I would add, as it's not a requirement, but it's a nice thing, is a nonstick pan for making scrambled eggs. I don't eat eggs all the time, so they're not, it's not entirely essential for me to have some way of cooking them, but I only like eggs scrambled. So I can't like cook them over easy on something or, I wouldn't have any other way to cook them. And I prefer how they come out in a nonstick pan.
really.
Hmm.
So I do all my eggs in the same not the air fryer, in the same cast iron that I do the rest of my frying in.
Do you scramble your eggs
Yeah,
and they don't
I mean
stick?
not all the time. Sometimes they do. I don't mind them sticking a little bit. I'll just like whatever part is stuck to the pan, I'm not gonna eat. But you just don't. So with a cast iron, you especially making eggs, you cannot have the pan too high. So I'll start by putting the pan on medium, like right in the middle. And I'll do that just until the pan gets hot. And then I'll turn it down to like one and a half or two. So it's on
Ah,
very low heat the rest of the time.
okay.
Because that thing, once it's hot, it's going to stay hot for a while. And it doesn't need much heat to stay at the actual temperature that you want for eggs, which is pretty low.
Mhm.
So what I've found, this is my theory, is that the hotter it is, your oil is going to thin out, and that gives the eggs more chance to touch the
Hmm.
pan and then stick. Because I've
Ah,
noticed
okay.
that on higher temperatures, the oil is thinner, so it's moving across the pan so much faster. So
Mm.
then I feel like the eggs are pushing the oil out of the way. The oil pools on the side instead of sitting under the eggs, and
Mhm.
that's what I want.
Huh. Look at that, Mr. Scientist.
Yeah.
Arian DeGrasse Tyson. I really appreciate. I, I appreciate that explanation. That makes a lot of sense. Now, we talked earlier about how I don't know how to season a cast iron pan, and every time I've seasoned one, like the first cook after is, it's totally nonstick, and then thereafter it starts sticking. So, and the seasoning starts flaking or something that happens with it. So I don't think I know what I'm doing, or I need to sand down the pan and start from scratch. I don't know how to get it like glass. I've heard of people taking, sanders to the inside to smooth out all the little bumps, that are on the lodge pans. But I don't know.
I feel like you want those bumps. I thought.
I don't know. Well, how do you get that? Like, well, in any event. So I was
So
told that in the South, people know how to season their pans, and when I get there, that someone will show me. So I hope that the student is coming, and I hope that the teacher appears.
yeah, let me know what you find out. So I've never been able to get a pan perfectly seasoned like the way they come when you buy the pan. I've never gotten mine to look like that afterwards. There's always something gets really dirty. I end up having to scrape the hell out of the pan, and then in the process of doing that, or I accidentally use water that had soap in it, and then seasoning is coming off, and I'm starting over in some spots, but the rest of it's fine. And I just cook on it. Like I just keep cooking. Um, the season is not perfect. There's like in my main pan now, there's a whole like half moon of extra thick seasoning on it. That's like that part is like kind of smooth black as opposed to the textured black that everything else on the pan looks like. There's parts that don't look like they're seasoned enough. Hey, the thing cooks.
Mm, okay. Well, it sticks. That's the part. But maybe what you're saying is I'm just trying to do the temperature is too high. So,
Maybe. So you're talking about
mhm.
everything sticking, not just eggs, right?
No, I'm talking specifically about scrambled eggs.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think that's a seasoning thing. So I can't take full credit for that advice I just gave. I caught
Hmm.
the idea off of Reddit. Like somebody said that their mom taught them to turn the pan up, let it get hot, and then turn it off,
Hmm.
and then cook the eggs. So like put the eggs
Hmm.
in, then turn it off, and let it just cook on the residual heat. So from
Hmm.
there, I realized that the issue is that the pan is getting way too hot.
Hmm. Okay. All right. So there you go, folks. You can do all of your cooking in a cast iron pan. You get the seasoning right, and or even if you don't, just cook at a lower temperature, and the eggs should work out. That should work just fine. Uh, okay, and let's see. We see. So Chris says I'm going to reheat it and see what happens. Hopefully, I do overdo it. Yeah, well, Chris, you can still eat that brown butter. I mean, it's good as is. Like I'm sure it tastes great. So don't throw that away. Terry only eats a little bit of the butter candy, so good for you, Terry. And Mandel says, "Is this full stick of butter in the pan with my eggs and sardines considered too much butter for breakfast? I was trying to eat enough fat because the rest of my food is hamburger patties." So I think that everybody's need for calories is different. So if you are a very physical person and, like Mandel, like you have an outdoor job where you're moving around a lot, you're, in high temperatures, you're doing a lot, you have greater calorie needs. And so a full stick of butter may be entirely appropriate. You may need all of that. But now, as a postmenopausal middle-aged woman, I don't have those needs. Who really doesn't move around very much. So yeah, I don't have those needs. So that's why I got to be careful. But for everybody else, if you do a lot, yeah, you're gonna need to eat a lot of fat. Okay, Chris is picking up his air fryer tomorrow. Yes, I am so excited for you. Please post
Nice.
whatever your first meal is. Post it and tag me on Instagram, or post it in the group. Let us know. I want to see what you made. I'm excited for you. I love, love, love the air fryer, and I definitely think everybody should have one. And Terry says, oh, okay, to make brown butter, you have to constantly stir your butter in the saucepan. Okay, that makes sense. Yep.
Yep. Makes a
Um,
lot of sense.
yeah. So Douglas says older cast iron was always smooth and lighter. Newer cast iron is rough and heavier. Nowadays, you will pay a mint for a smooth finish cast iron pan. You can sand and grind newer, cheaper pans smooth. Okay, so that's what I've been reading and about people doing in Reddit. There's a Reddit on cast iron pans. Now it's interesting that they were lighter because when I try to like use one and move it around or get food out of it, I'm kind of like, man, this is so heavy. Like I know our grandmothers were strong, but this does not seem like with a 12-inch pan with food in it and one woman is able to lift this up and like do whatever. But that makes sense that they may have been lighter.
Yeah, because when I first picked one up, I thought, like, can you imagine getting hit by one of these? You'd kill
Yeah.
somebody.
Well, and the work to lift it and hit someone, yeah. But
Yeah.
people did kill people. I'm sure there always was a good reason. Get the hell out of my kitchen. So
Hmm.
if you could lift it and swing it, like that would be a good weapon for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, IR Stevens says I got in late. What are the 5 things you need to start? Excellent question. Just going to recap one last time because we should wrap up. This has been a great conversation. So to recap, you need a good knife, an air fryer, chuck roast or ground beef and or both, salt, and butter. And if you want to switch out the butter, you can choose beef fat, grass fed if you can get it. If not, no worries. Just get beef fat.
Yep.
Hey, Portia, I'm late too. Okay. I hope you heard that summary right there. That was a good one.
Right.
That was a good
If
one.
not, just pull back like 10 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, yeah, I hope that this has really helped you guys get started, though. To me, like, this is just the easiest way to do it. I know people want like a meal plan or like a suggestion about what to eat, and I feel like I give that and I want to give that, but I feel like that makes things more complicated. And what I find a lot of carnivores end up doing is like, you buy what's on sale or looks good at the grocery store and you eat that for every meal that week, and then the next time you go to the grocery store you get something different because something else is on sale and you eat that until it's gone, and then you go back to the
Yep.
store. So this idea that we have of having one thing for breakfast, a different thing for lunch, a different thing for dinner, or a different thing for each night of the week for dinner, like all of that is a lot of work that isn't really necessary when the food that you're eating tastes good and you like it.
Yeah. Like that whole recipe lifestyle, and there are people whose whole careers are just based on sharing the same food remixed a different way.
Mhm. Mhm.
And yeah, no, it's at least in carnivore. I don't think it's necessary, period. But I can specifically say within carnivore, it's really not necessary. Most people's
Yeah.
recipes are going to look exactly the same. Um, and yeah, I think we're used to a diet being a regimen. So like, okay,
Mhm.
so what do I need to do? I need a list of these things. I'm going to go to the store and buy all these, and then now I'm
Mm-hmm.
ready for carnivore. You're already
Mm-hmm.
ready. You probably have most of the stuff that you need. Go out and get a couple more things, and then you're set to go. And all it is
Mm-hmm.
just cooking the food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. So I don't know, maybe I should start promoting that. Like, like for example, at Whole Foods they had a chuck roast on sale, so I bought a ton of it. I cut it up into 1 pound portions and I put it all in the freezer. And now there's like 20, I don't know, there must be 21 pound portions frozen in the freezer. So that's what I'm having until, it's over or I decide I'm sick of it, which, is unlikely. And then I bought some cans of salmon, which I will fry in that browned butter. In fact, I might do that after this. So yeah, that's kind of it.
Yeah, I got some strip steak out, and I'm going to try the brown butter thing probably as soon as we get off of this.
I'm sorry, I was reading Douglas's comment. They made the pans out of better material, and better pans were very light and expensive. Okay. But what
I,
were you going to say?
uh, that I think I'm going to try. I have some New York strips that are already thawed. I'm going to try those with the brown butter
Okay,
because this
nice.
is reminding me that I've been enjoying using my pan more. Like I've been air frying
Hmm.
for a long time, and I
Hmm.
don't know, something got me back on the pan, and now I want to fry everything.
Something got you back on the pan. Oh, Mr. Bogglesworth, oh my gosh. If you have not had salmon and brown butter, you just don't know what you're missing. Get yourself a can of salmon. So it's got the skin in there and the bones and everything. So super healthy. You're getting, well, this is organ meat as well. So if you're, like concerned about that, you're getting that. And you brown the butter. Brown butter is delicious. It makes everything taste good, but I think it particularly makes salmon taste good. And yeah, mix it up like that and eat it. So you could make, like salmon croquettes or cakes or something, but sometimes it's just easier to just fry it up in the pan and it gets crispy and it's so good. Um, Dark Chris says he definitely changes up his food based on sales. Yes. Um, and so does mommy does keto. Yeah. That's really the best way to do it. Like the most
Say,
effective. Yeah. Yeah. So what's available, what's on sale, and what I feel like. Those are um, the things that I use to make my decision. So, um, and Mandel says the first sign of getting weaker is going from cast iron to stainless steel. 100%. And I made that switch a while back. I was just like, this is just too much to pull this out. It's just too much. Too much.
see, and I'm lazy, so I just leave them on the stove. It never
Hmm.
leaves the stove.
Mm. Yeah. Well, there is that too. Definitely. All right, folks. So I want to say thank you to all of you for being here for my birthday. I so appreciate. Wow, we're up to 50 people watching. You guys are on.
Yeah,
Where are you coming from? Please, all 50 of you, hit that like button to click subscribe as well. And go follow me on Instagram too. I post some good reels this week. I feel like I put some effort into them. So look at them. Yeah. But I really wanted to say thank you so much for being here for my birthday. I love spending this evening with you. I am in, chapter 2 of my life. I am in the second half, which I am predicting is going to be better than the first half. This is my middle age, so I'm going to live to 100. That's the plan. And I expect this chunk of 50 to be amazing. to supersede all that has come before it. So I appreciate you all being here at the beginning. I thank you so much for all the super chats and all the birthday wishes. That really meant a lot to me. And Arian, I'm so glad that you made it. I missed chatting with you, and I haven't had a chance to talk to you in a while. So I'm glad that you are here. Yes.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Sorry that I had that mix up and it didn't come on until later. But yeah, I'm glad I still made it. This was a good time.
Oh my God, thank you, Portia. I really appreciate that for that super sticker. That really means a lot to me. And thank you. And Mandel, I don't know, as much butter as you want. It's up to you. Put that stick of butter in with a whole can of salmon. I don't
I
know.
mean, yeah, honestly, as much as it feels good, like your body is going to tell you when it's too much butter. Um, if it's still like kind of melted and stuff, you're going to taste when it's too much,
Yeah,
or your
I
body
don't
will
know.
start feeling it.
I never, my body's not never says no, that's too much. So that's the problem. Like,
Well,
it goes down good.
yeah, you can eat rendered butter or rendered fat. Period. I don't know how that. I don't know how you do that. You're
Hmm.
superhuman.
Yeah, I think after over time, you build up the ability. Hey, Johnny G, I am so glad you are here. It's been a while. I have not seen you in a long while. So thank you for being here and on my birthday, no less. So wonderful. Um, so Portia asked about, okay, I missed.
No,
Oh,
you didn't miss it.
okay.
You just
I see.
get to
Mommy
it.
does keto. Yes, that's excellent advice. I highly recommend doing exactly that. So, and then
Right.
when you hit that point, then you back down by a tablespoon. And then that's the exact right amount of butter. Okay, so Portia says, I think I'm gonna try it. Not the salmon, like tuna, right? Um, you could do it with any kind of canned fish. I prefer the salmon. Some people prefer sardines, some people the mackerel. So it's up to you, just play around with it.
Yes.
And yeah,
Yes. Bones.
yes. And the one with the bones and the skin and all that stuff in there. It's very good. Excellent. All right. Thank you, everybody. Um, so,
You got people coming out the woodwork wishing you happy birthday. I didn't even realize these people was in here.
yeah. Um, so Portia, I think the canned salmon that's
It's
like 15 ounces, that's the one I'm talking about. I think sometimes you can get canned salmon that is like the alternative to tuna, but that's not what I mean. The bigger can that's got like 14 ounces in it, and it's got skin and bones and everything.
and there'll be like normally. So when I buy it, there's always like a spine going down the middle of it.
Hmm. Yeah. And if you look at the label, it says it's got like 30% calcium, and that's because it's also adding in that you're eating the bones.
Mm.
So, yeah. All right, folks. So, thanks a lot. I had a great time talking to you tonight, and I will see you all next week. Have a good one. All right. Bye.
Good night, everyone.